One man changed history forever. This is the true story of Napoleon Bonaparte. In the history of Europe, few names inspire as much admiration and controversy as Napoleon Bonaparte. To some, he was a military genius who reshaped an entire continent. To others, he was an ambitious ruler whose wars claimed millions of lives. More than 2 centuries later, his legacy still divides historians. Napoleon was born on the island of Corsica in 1769, shortly after France took control of the island. His family was not wealthy, but his remarkable intelligence earned him a place in France's military schools, where his extraordinary career began. The French Revolution changed everything. As chaos spread across France, the young artillery officer quickly proved his brilliance on the battlefield. Victory after victory made him one of the nation's most celebrated commanders. In 1799, Napoleon seized power through a coup d'état. Within a few years, he crowned himself Emperor of the French, marking the beginning of one of history's most powerful empires. From Italy to Egypt and across Europe, Napoleon's armies achieved astonishing victories. His military tactics are still studied in military academies around the world today. At the height of his power in 1812, Napoleon commanded the largest army Europe had ever seen. Confident of a swift victory, he marched more than 600,000 soldiers into Russia. But instead of a decisive battle, the Russians retreated, burning towns, villages, and supplies behind them. The French army was left with little food and shelter as winter approached. The retreat from Russia became one of the greatest military disasters in history. Freezing temperatures, starvation, disease, and constant attacks devastated Napoleon's army. Of the hundreds of thousands who entered Russia, only a small fraction returned. The defeat shattered the myth of Napoleon's invincibility and encouraged his enemies to unite against him. In 1814, the Allied armies marched into Paris. Outnumbered and unable to continue the fight, Napoleon was forced to abdicate the throne. He was exiled to the small Mediterranean island of Elba. For many, it seemed that the remarkable career of Europe's greatest military commander had finally come to an end. But Napoleon's story was not over. In February 1815, he escaped from Elba and returned to France. As he marched toward Paris, thousands of soldiers sent to arrest him instead joined his cause. Without firing a single shot, Napoleon reclaimed the throne and began what became known as the 100 Days. Napoleon's return ended at the Battle of Waterloo on June 18, 1815. Defeated by the Allied armies under the Duke of Wellington and Field Marshal Blucher, he surrendered once again. This time, he was exiled to the remote island of Saint Helena, where he died in 1821. More than 2 centuries later, Napoleon Bonaparte remains one of history's most influential and debated figures, remembered as both a brilliant military strategist and a ruler whose ambition changed Europe forever.